Dr. CB.
Yo, Dunny, we back.
We back?
In the chateau.
You getting some rest or what?
Getting some rest.
Poppy giving you some rest?
Man, much better than that last time we recorded, man. I was in a rough place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doo-doo butter on my foot and no sleep.
No hours of sleep.
No hours of sleep. So things are getting a little better, man.
Yeah, it's amazing what a few hours of sleep can do for a guy.
Dude, I feel like a new person.
That's good.
No doubt. Somewhat alert and aware.
Yeah, and how's Poppy coming along with the puppy training?
Yeah, Papalophagus, it's hit and miss. We'll call it variable, you know?
Yeah.
There are times where you come home and there's some pee-pee everywhere and some poo-poo caca, and sometimes she does really good and goes outside.
Yeah.
But man, it's great to see. I think we posted a picture of JoJo before, but JoJo has a buddy now, and they literally just fight all day and play, and like it's great to see them just homies.
Okay, having fun. It's not like a power struggle.
It's not a power struggle. Although JoJo does this thing where she's kind of territorial and tends to bully at times, but I think it's mostly in good fun.
Just establishing like who's the alpha.
Yeah, like I ripped all the cotton out of this pterodactyl toy, and it's mine. And I'm going to hold it right in front of your face, and when you jab at it, I'm going to hit you with my right paw. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Just gonna tease you and then show you.
When you come after it, I'm going to slap you right in the face. Yeah. So JoJo is very kind.
Hashtag siblings.
Hashtag siblings. Yeah. It's good for those dogs, man.
I love when you post those thirst trap puppy photos on the Beyond Flag Insta.
Yeah, man. I here's what I've learned. Everything that we contribute really in the like the context of the algorithm just goes to the bottom of the toilet.
Yeah.
And then if I post something of a puppy, all of a sudden everything at the bottom of the toilet, right to the top.
We gotta get some cats on this feed.
If we get some cats and dogs, Beyond Flag could go global.
Yeah. Get Poppy in the frame with a cat.
Yeah.
Get the two of them together.
If I could get them together, maybe I'll see if we can like Photoshop a cat's face on JoJo's body, holding that like dead pterodactyl.
But see what you can put together.
See what we can put together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking this enterprise straight to the top of social media toilet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, isn't the definition of social media middle-aged men posting photos of cats?
Yeah, we established that last episode, right? Yeah.
We've just now figured it out.
Comes full circle, no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
What's happening in the community?
We got some good stuff, man. First, we got Flagstaff Mountain Film Festival coming up.
Oh, yeah. Hit this joint. 20-year anniversary.
20-year anniversary. Tickets are available. You can find them online through the Orpheum website or at the box office currently.
Yeah, it takes place April 7th through the 10th, right? So get your tickets now.
Yep.
To be all ready for that joint.
They're going like hotcakes, huh?
Yeah.
As far as I know. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing. I think those things are going like hotcakes.
Yeah.
So I got the Flag Mountain Film Fest. What's next?
Oh, there's also a really cool joint. It's just a 1 day, 1 hour program. I thought, to me, it sounded really interesting.
Yeah.
It's at the Museum of Northern Arizona, March 22nd, 2 to 3 p.m. It's Anthony Thibodeau, and he is going to be talking about the influence of pop culture on native arts. So I think that's super relevant.
Whoa,
and
yeah.
Museum of Northern Arizona puts on some great stuff. So it should be really interesting about how pop culture has influenced those native arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does sound interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be the jumping point just to reflect on a lot of influence that's gone on, and reflection can be informative for how to move forward.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And then more info on the events page at Mona at the Museum of Northern Arizona website.
Yep. So if you check out the Museum of Northern Arizona website, hit that events page, you'll see the details for it there.
Blammo. Okay. Last thing, I got more of a shout out this time. Nice shout. Yeah, we haven't done those in a long time, man.
Hashtag nice shout.
Nice shout. Man, I want to shout out the good friends. Tim Senna and his wife Misty with the Veil Tattoo Studio.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other homie, Jesse Coddington, and his wife Mandy with New Roots Fitness Co., as they're both awarded Best of Flag 2021.
Best of Flag.
Yeah, blammo. Do we got a button game strong for that or what?
Well, we don't have the air horn, so how about this?
Moving on up. Yeah. Yeah, so we got Button Game Strong. Man, huge shout out to Tim and Misty, Jesse and Mandy, Best Tattoo Parlor and Best Personal Trainer in Flagpole, Arizona Nice. Huge congrats to the homies.
Huge congrats.
Ah, there we go. Yeah. Our millions of fans Ranging all the way from Flagstaff to that one town in Iowa to the one listener in Poland, huh?
Yeah. But shout out to them. That's a lot of hard work. I hope they feel good.
Yeah, and they have a neat story. I was telling you earlier, we got to bring them on the podcast, but they grew up together. Friends growing up together in Fort Sumner, New Mexico.
Fort Sumner.
Fort Sumner. Now they live in Flagpole and are doing really cool things.
Yeah, cool things, big things in the metropolis of Flagpole, Arizona.
Flagpole.
Good for them. Congrats.
Yeah.
All right. So then who we got on the podcast today?
Man, we're going Beyond Flag, which is good news for our listeners.
Yeah.
We're going Beyond Flag with Kayley Quick, a graphic design and art teacher at the
capital THE.
Yeah. The Flagstaff High School. Hashtag go
Eagles.
Yeah, there we go. Kayley, a 2009 graduate of Northern Arizona University, also known as
Harvard of the West.
Hashtag go
Jumberlags.
Lumbers. All right. And she earned a bachelor's degree in education. She began teaching at the Mount Eldon Middle School. Hashtag go
Mems.
Yeah, Thunderbirds. All right. Shout out Russ First now. He was the principal when I was there. An A-plus school with a history of producing top-notch alums. I can't say that with a straight face. From there, Kayley went on to teach at Flagstaff High. As a teacher, she seeks to connect with her students and sees the roles of a teacher as one that can have a lasting impact. This is found in ways she stays in touch with her students after they graduate and ways she leads while they are in her classroom. This might even include taking a rubber duck to the face.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that story. Apparently, keep your eyes peeled for them rubber duckies in her class.
Yeah, man. If you're in Kayley's class, eyes up. Yeah. Aware.
Eyes up. Hashtag eyes up.
Eyes up. You're looking down, taking a rubber duck to the face. Whew, man, shout out Kayley, though. In 2019, Kayley was part of the Flagstaff High School team of artists that included Alyssa Williams and Nicole Dougherty that won the Vans Custom Culture Contest, which brought in $75,000 to the school.
Yeah, and such incredible details. Yeah, don't miss this story talking about Alyssa and Nicole. Congrats to them. Yeah, what a cool thing.
Really good stuff, yeah. And additionally, so Kayley's art can be found all around town. This includes murals on Salsa Brava, the Starlight Lanes, which is Flagstaff's premier site for strikes and gutters, dude.
Starlight Lanes gets a V? Capital THE?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only place to bowl in town, right? Yeah.
The premier site for strikes and gutters, dude.
Strikes and gutters, dude. And then you can also find her art, and there's a collection of electric boxes over by the Flagstaff Mall and those apartments by the Safeway.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. She's also designed various concert posters for shows around town, including one for Widespread Panic, and she won Best of Flag Local Artist in the years 2018 and 2020. Also, she was chosen by the Arizona Daily Sun, Flagstaff's local newspaper. I guess we call it the Arizona Daily Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. As one of the top 20 people under the age of 40 in Flagstaff for her contributions in teaching and art in the community.
Yeah, just a big influence here in the area. And do you think people aren't going to know the Daily Sun?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Isn't that a national?
Yeah, it's like New York Times, WAPO, Daily Sun.
Daily Sun.
Yeah.
It's the New York Times of the West.
The Tribune. Yeah. It's the New York Times of the West. You got it. Yeah, man. So stay tuned as Kayley, a self-described professional weirdo, discusses growing up in Phoenix, her time at NAU, her work as a high school teacher, various projects she's done, and what's on the docket. And not to reveal too much, but there's an exclusive revealing of a project she's in the works with.
Yeah. Exclusive coming your way.
We had a ton of fun being able to sit with Kayley, and we hope you enjoy the interview as well.
Thanks for tuning in as we go Beyond Flag with
Kayley Quick. Welcome to Beyond Flag, a Beyond the Pines production, created by, with, and for the people of Flagstaff, building connection in the town we love. We are your hosts,
Dr. Daniel J. Phillips
and Cody Bayless, also known as Dr. Chinchilla Nice Nice. Thanks for tuning in as we go Beyond Flag, straight from the Dunny of our observatory. Hey, we're back. We're in the chateau, and we're here with Kayley Quick. Kayley,
Hello.
welcome. Yeah.
Hey, Kayley.
Man, thanks for taking time out of this Saturday morning to sit with us.
Oh, super excited to be here.
Yeah. We'll check in on that enthusiasm by the end as well. Yeah.
Just slowly dwindles throughout the duration of the podcast. Nobody can see my upset face. So.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's what we're best at, making excitement dissipate.
We can make that dwindle over time. So Kayley, for us, just to jump in, one thing I'd be curious, just kind of what is life like now? You know, if we followed you with a GoPro and just kind of watched you live your life, what would day to day look like?
Day to day. Well, it depends on the day. I like to jump around a lot. I keep my interests pretty varied. On a normal school day, I'll wake up usually a little late and then scramble to get to work relatively on time. And then teach the youth of America for a number of hours. And then I come home and I'll make some art. And then, you know, once my husband and stepson get home, family life and dinner, sometimes games or Mario.
Yeah, come on.
Mario Kart?
Yes, sometimes. Yeah. And right now we're playing the Super Mario World. Actually, it's Super Luigi World for the Switch. I'm kind of a Mario nerd. I grew up on it, so.
Yeah.
So, Kayley, you mentioned just being a teacher. We referenced you teaching at Flagstaff High School, #Go Eagles. What are the courses that you teach?
I teach graphic design, 1, 2. I also have a screen printing class, and I work with Dana Camberg, my instructional assistant, who is amazing in every way, shape, and form. So I also have a competitive team that I run through the school. And yeah.
Yeah, what does that look like?
So as part of our CTE courses, we need to have what's called a CTSO. It's basically a student organization. And so my Skills USA team, I develop every year, and we do competitions and get together after school and during lunch. And usually my third year students, so they've had a number of years to work with me and got to see them grow and change and send them off into competition. And yeah, they usually do pretty well.
Yeah, that's cool. And then for competitions, how does that work? Like, do you go to a place? Do you just submit work? And
Oh, it depends on the competition.
Yeah.
With Skills USA, we usually have in-person competitions.
Okay.
We'll do like an ad design competition, and pin design and t-shirt design are the 3 that we compete in.
Yeah.
And then last year was all virtual because, well, everything was.
Yeah.
And this year it looks like we're going to be in person again, which is very exciting.
Okay. Very cool. Can I ask what it was like being a teacher of graphic design and screen printing and those kinds of things?
Oof. It was a challenge, you know. I think there were a number of challenges, both logistically on how to teach graphic design meaningfully over an iPad, and then the challenges of connecting with students.
Yeah.
Like that heartfelt, emotional, really get to know them connection with their screens off. And so that was always juggling. And I was really grateful to come back when we were ready to come back, because, you know, there's nothing like eye contact, and jokes can't always be relayed in the same dumb fashion over Zoom.
Yeah.
Without an audience, it's, I don't know if they're laughing or not, so I just feel like a goofball.
Right. Do you just see their initials and their names on the screen and you imagine them laughing when really they're snoozing, that kind of thing?
I wish I imagined them laughing.
Yeah. Probably imagine them snoozing when they were laughing.
When they were laughing.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, if I'm thinking positively.
Yeah. Can I ask, I don't know if this is, I don't know how you'd feel about this question, but what impacts did you see on the students? Did you see the ways that doing school online impacted the students?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question, because I was very much pro going online at the time that we started, because I was very nervous about COVID, as we all were. And the impacts that we're seeing now is just some social development delays. I think the kids have a harder time socializing with one another and socializing with me. I think because they spent a lot of time alone, you know, there's a little bit of a withdrawnness, and I hesitate to say depression. I'm no doctor, but there's a little sadness there sometimes.
Sure.
And that they're working through. But, you know, the kids are great. They're funny and they're resilient, and I think everybody's really scared, but they're a lot more self-aware than I think a lot of people give them credit for.
Yeah, it was just thinking like in the socialization aspect of that, it seems like so much of the attention then went to socializing virtually, like through social media platforms or through FaceTime and that kind of thing. And it seems like the thing that you've experienced coming back is like there's a little bit of a delay in all that. Huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing I would wonder is, do you see people preferring that now? Like, do you see the kids in your class like kind of defaulting to wanting to use social media as a means to connect?
Yeah, cell phones are always an issue for a teacher.
Are they? Yeah.
You know, it's almost like because the stage that they're in and, you know, half their desire to come to school is just to socialize with each other. You know, that little ring of their phone that brings up a notification is a lot more engaging at times. And they, you know, they just want to use it to communicate with each other, which, you know, sometimes is great and sometimes it's a little bit distracting.
Yeah, sure. You know, kind of reminds me of our interview with Emma. And we were talking about, like, what do you see with teenagers now compared to, like, 10, 20 years ago kind of thing. And we're kind of saying, like, it seems like teenagers actually are really similar. But there's this new context of social media and the phone that has really changed things.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're exposed to a lot more than, you know, we think about. I'm a child of the internet. I got the internet in 5th grade. Yeah. And I know that there were a lot of things on the internet I was finding that I should have not found.
Sure.
And it's just multiplied so much. You know, they have access to everything. And I think, you know, it's this odd balance of protecting them, but also at some point needing to acknowledge that they are exposed to these very adult concepts at a young age. And you know, how do we acknowledge that meaningfully other than just pointing our fingers and saying, no, don't do that?
Well, here's the $1 million question. Do you have your input for how to strike that balance?
Oh my gosh. As a parent and a teacher, it's been really hard because, you know, their brains are developing and the imagery that's being put in it really is molding and shaping their outlook on the world. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, my stepson probably says I'm a little bit too overlordy when it comes to the internet and social media, but I've let the reins go a little bit. And coming to a place of acceptance of this is just how it is. Yeah. You know, and how do we meaningfully navigate this? Yeah. But I think for me, like, it just comes down to the way that I'm communicating with them in a way that makes them feel like they are more mature than I think sometimes they get credit for. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like coming into that personal conversation, knowing about these experiences they're having on the web, if that makes sense.
Yeah, not speaking to them condescendingly or like they should be naive or something like that.
A little bit like that. I joke about being an overlord in my classroom a lot, but I throw rubber ducks at them when I'm asserting my dominance. They love it.
Yeah.
And
that seems like more of a passive kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem overlordish.
It doesn't. I thought it was. I'm
looking
them in the eyeballs and throwing rubber duckies at them. Sounds like an overlord to me.
Okay, so maybe if you're staring them in the eye while you launch
it's the eye contact.
Yeah, the direct eye contact.
Okay, yeah.
That's how I run my classroom.
If I'm a student in one of your classes, what am I doing when a rubber duck is coming at me? Am I on my phone or am I talking? Am I throwing notes across the room? Sometimes it is a means for me to control the class and get attention. But sometimes it's just absolutely nothing. You know, you got to keep them on their toes a little bit. I love that. Yes, I love this.
At any point, Mrs. Quick could throw a rubber duck at you.
Yeah. You got to be quick on your head foot. Yeah. You want a rubber duck to the face.
Yeah, if you're not paying attention.
That's right.
Gets them dialed. That's that, what is it? The random scheduled reinforcement or consequence?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, I'm doing like really mature things.
Absolutely.
Good behavioral.
You're tapping right into a behavioral thing. Yeah, this is great.
It's a behavioral strategy. It's really good if it's random. If they can expect it, they learn when they cannot pay attention and when they can. But if it's chaos, you got to be on your toes all the time.
Kind of like a slot machine.
Yeah. They taught me that at NAU when I got my education degree. So.
Well, absolutely. We're talking about one of the premier universities in the land.
Harvard of the West.
Harvard of the West, we like to refer to it as. Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
You had a different experience than?
I actually had a pretty good experience with my degree at NAU.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I worked with Dr. Pam Stevens. She was my advisor and professor, and she was just amazing and profound. And I was just this young little thing with, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I like to make pretty stuff. And so I thought I'd teach the youth of America how to make pretty stuff.
Yeah.
And then she just really opened up my eyes on what education could be.
Ah, that's so cool.
How did it change? How did your vision change or your understanding of it change?
I think it was also part of the time of my life when we were entering college and you just kind of holy crap, there's a whole world out here that I didn't expect. But more of the theory behind why I'm teaching. Because a lot of my art teachers in high school, they just let us make pretty stuff all the time. So I thought that was going to be my job. But actually having a foundation and why we do this, she teaches discipline-based art education. So it's a lot of ties with other disciplines within art. And so just starting to see the ways that art was really meaningful outside of the enjoyment of creating art and connecting with other subject matters. And yeah, that was very valuable for me.
Yeah. And when did you discover that? Was this at NAU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started at NAU in 2005.
Okay. And then you graduated around
09
or so?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you find NAU? I imagine you have acceptance letters from Princeton and Yale and Harvard and all kinds
you're
of great
so
places.
sweet. I was the worst high school student.
Yeah.
Well, you know Harvard's well known for its art.
Yeah, Harvard and art. Yeah.
Harvard and art. Yeah. Yeah.
So high school, your experience in high school was
Not very good. Well, I had a lot of things going on within my family dynamic at that time. And so I was really acting out a lot in ways that people didn't really recognize. And I could have used a good teacher to connect with me on that. And so I really only gave my energy towards art and music. And so that left my GPA pretty mediocre when you're getting A's in art and music and D's and everything else. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
in music. What did you do for music?
I was a clarinet player.
Oh, yeah.
And a guitar player and piano. And I wanted to actually teach music before I wanted to get into teaching art.
Yeah.
From 4th grade to 12th grade.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Early, you had a vision of that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a teacher since, I wanted to be a school bus driver when I was in 1st grade.
Okay. Okay.
So
Then
that
it
transitioned
evolved.
me, yeah.
Yeah. What was it about driving the bus that felt most connective for you? What was?
My bus driver,
Yeah.
she was so sweet.
Uh-huh.
She actually called me Kayley for a year or two before I corrected her because I was too nervous.
Didn't want to upset the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was really nice to me. I didn't want to change that. Kaley,
Yeah.
she's a troublemaker, but Kaylene, she's studious and gets on the bus correctly.
Yeah.
Compulsive rule follower. Huh?
Oh, yeah, that Kaylene.
So then when you corrected her, did Kaley come out?
Yeah.
Kaley start causing ruckus on the
Oh,
bus?
yeah, it just got crazy.
I believe it.
So school bus driver to teacher.
Yeah.
Music teacher to art teacher.
Yeah.
Played various instruments. Was Kenny G an inspiration, an early
Oh,
inspiration?
absolutely.
Yeah.
He was a soprano sax player, so.
Is that looked down upon by clarinet, or where's the hierarchy? What does that mean?
Soprano sax is kind of the bottom of the barrel kind of thing.
Well,
He's
it's
just a
not
soprano
really.
sax.
It's each instrument has its own person temperament. There's a person that connects with a style of instrument.
Yeah.
And so I'm not hating on Kenny G, but he is a soprano sax player.
Yeah.
So what's the personality of a soprano sax player?
Kenny G.
Kenny G.
Long curly hair.
Oh yeah, you start growing that long mane as soon as you grab one.
It's not hair, it's a mane.
Get your perm.
Get your perm going. Okay,
Lion's mane
now I
and
know a
soprano
soprano sax.
Yeah.
What about a clarinet? What's the personality of a clarinet?
Well, I wanted to play trumpet, and trumpet players can sometimes be a little cocky. But my family couldn't afford a trumpet, but my aunt had a clarinet underneath my grandmother's bed. And if I wanted to play clarinet, which I was very excited about, I had to go dig out that clarinet under the bed, and I found it. And it was very exciting.
So that's a
Hooked.
good origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got hooked. And so clarinetists are opportunists?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I was kind of I was the like black sheep of the band kids. Like I was pretty good. Toot my own horn, toot toot. But and all of my friends in band who played clarinet were very studious and very type A and left-brained and very articulate. And I was just like, I'm wild. So I didn't fit the mold as much, but I loved the instrument. And I'll still play it from time to time.
Well, yeah. All right. And then do you play any other instruments now?
Yeah, I've picked up the bass guitar recently. Just bought one.
Which I was going to say, in doing a little IG stalking, I think I found you playing the bass, and there was it Tool? I think you said, what song is this? And it was 46 and 2. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
46 and 2?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm such a Tool fan.
I love
right
that
on.
opening line.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
I called that one.
I was really excited about that. Like, just hearing you play, I was like, oh, that's Tool. 46 and 2. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so cool. So you play bass pretty regularly now?
I haven't been playing regularly for a minute.
Okay.
I was in a band for a little bit,
Oh,
but
come on.
the lead guitarist and singer passed away, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Haven Walker. We were in a band together, and it was just kind of a freak accident. And I haven't really played that much since. It was, a little traumatizing. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was a real inspiration, really amazing player. And yeah.
What genre would you all play?
Oh man, it was a little all over the place. It was kind of jam bandy, that was the band's thing too. And I've never been super jam bandy, and I was learning a lot. Being a very noodly clarinet lead player, going to the bass, transitioning to something a little bit more grounded was a challenge for me. But I wrote a lot of songs, and that was really fun.
Very cool.
Stretching my wings a little bit, and I'll get back to it.
All in good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all play shows around town and that kind of thing?
No, we weren't there yet.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
would have been cool though. Actually, we played at the Mountain Air Tavern once.
Oh, come on. Premier venue in Flagstaff, Arizona, rivaling the Orpheum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mountain Air Tavern. Did you have a name for the band also?
What did we actually had a lot of conversations about what it should be, and we never really came down to it. One of the members wanted to call it Kayley and the Monsters,
Yeah.
which I really liked.
And Monsters spelled how?
Monsta, Monsta.
Yeah. Kayley and the Monsters.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So that was one that was being tossed around, but never really firmly landed on any
Never
name,
firmly landed. There was a lot of debate, as bands can get. We
Sure.
definitely had a lot of our debates.
That name seems so important. Like any other names that were rivaling it?
I wanted to call it Cloud River because I thought that was a really cool visual.
Yeah.
Nobody else really felt that it fit the genre that we
Okay.
didn't have dialed.
Okay. I almost wonder, can we find another place for Cloud River in your life?
I have the Instagram
Okay.
like hidden. I made it just because I was worried that somebody was gonna come up with this idea after me and take it. I don't know.
Okay.
So let's sit on it. The three of us. Do you guys play any instruments?
Nope. I did used to DJ back in the day.
Did you?
So
Yeah. So I used to spin records. Yeah.
The tables, that's an
Yeah.
instrument.
That's like instruments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you DJ?
So I lived in LA for a while, and I used to DJ out there. Well, here, but then in LA, I started when I was in Flagstaff in high school, actually. And then when I got a second turntable, that was a big deal. And I was living in Los Angeles at the time. So I used to DJ poetry lounges at the school I was going to and that sort of thing. And then honestly, I was just kind of like a record digger or a crate digger, like underground hip hop kind of dude,
Cool.
and spent a lot of time in my room.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of what I was
Doing
doing.
those ones and twos.
On the ones and twos, yeah. So I got way into like sampling records and looping beats and that kind of thing. And I made a volume 1 and volume 2 referred to as Nice Instrumentals. So my DJ name was Cody B. Nice. Yeah.
I love it. Well, now I've just outed you, so you're gonna have to put this in the show notes.
Totally. Oh,
Your
for sure.
albums.
If someone can find, I might have a way to find nice instrumentals, man. But yeah,
let's
that's probably
let's get into
In the
that.
crate somewhere. Yeah.
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
In the Nice Instrumentals, yeah. Which I actually, I'm curious about this. I would wonder, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Phoenix.
In Phoenix. Okay.
Very North Phoenix, off Happy Valley.
Okay.
Pinnacle Peak.
So when you were a kid, that was like the way out there.
It was super desert.
Yeah.
I used to jump my bike in the desert all the time. It was really fun. And then it like got really built up in the time that I lived there. I lived there my whole life. And then it just like houses everywhere. And
Yeah.
I remember when we got the gas station, that was a big deal.
That was a thing.
That was, well, holy crap, there's McDonald's and a gas station now.
This place is booming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phoenix, what I remember is it used to start maybe around like Deer Valley Road around there. Does that sound about right?
Yeah,
Like
we were
in?
close to Deer Valley,
Okay.
more north.
Yeah. Even further north. Yeah. Man, what was it like jumping bikes in the desert? And Happy Valley Road is
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was a lot more fearless when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that's really where it came out.
yeah.
Just playing. And, you know, back before the interwebs, like you'd get together with your friends outside, and parents weren't as overlordy back then, word of the day.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could just kind of peace out and just go play. And I think that was really crucial to my development at that age.
Okay. Very cool. And so growing up, going through high school, then you found yourself at NAU.
Yeah.
Okay. Were there any other universities that you were looking at the time?
No, I liked NAU because Flagstaff was kind of a hippie town in my mind, and it was close enough but far enough. And yeah, I didn't really know that much what I was getting into. I was kind of just like going with it. I had a boyfriend at the time that wanted to go to NAU, and it just sounded good, and I was just floating a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, when I talk to people at that stage of life right now, like moving from high school to whatever next phase is going to go on for them, it seems like really paralyzing now. Different than what I remember. I remember it being incredibly difficult to know what to do and to how to pick a path, but I felt like it was kind of like just taking steps and doing one thing after another, and eventually kind of getting rhythm with it. When I talk to kids nowadays, it seems like they're almost like paralyzed with it. What do you see, and how similar do you think your experience was to what you see in the kids nowadays?
I think it is very paralyzing for a lot of kids, and I think there's a number of reasons it's paralyzing. Even my very studious academic students are finding it a little bit heavy to consider that. I think for a variety of reasons, like schools become so expensive, and they know that. School was very expensive when I went to school, and I'm still paying off my student loans. And now they're jumping into something, and they're 18, and they might not necessarily know, like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Now I'm going to commit how many thousands of dollars and go in debt. And that's scary. But I think also, like, there's for a while, and it still can kind of be this way, but I think it's getting better in the school system, that like high school to college pipeline where everybody goes to college and that's the ultimate goal, when that's not really for every student. Like maybe a trade school is great for some students. They'll be very successful in that. That's the way that their brain works, in autos or something like that. I went to massage therapy school, and it was very, very good for me. Sometimes I'll say to students that maybe they should take a gap year and travel, or a few gap years until they know a little bit more about who they are, what they want, and then pursue that. I don't know that's the standard teacher approach, but...
Yeah. To me, like when I hear you describe that, it sounds like more considerate of where a student might be in their life, opposed to this idea of like, this is the next step for you.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to force them into adults a lot, and it's just a different time. In a lot of ways, they're subjected to adult content, but, they might not be as ready as like previous generations to like commit to like the 9 to 5 and like straight to college and a career and something very specific. And I think that's okay. Like giving a little bit of room for them to grow and mature into their own minds before they jump into anything big. Yeah. I always tell them, don't get married, don't have kids until you're 30.
Yeah.
And they, because I think they feel like, oh, now I'm going to have a family in the next handful of years, and I'm going to have to get married in my 20s, and that's what people do. And it doesn't have to be that path.
Feels like life's coming at them fast.
Yeah, and I think like there's a lot of expectations on these kids, I think, than, I don't want to say like previous or even I had from parents and teachers, but it seems like there's a lot more pressure to succeed and be an idealized version of who they should be when, they're coasting too and learning too and figuring it all out.
Do you have ideas for why that is?
Do I have ideas for why that is? I don't know.
Why that pressure is increasing or seemingly to increase?
I think that parents are exposed to a lot more too. You know, with the internet, like we see a lot and we have a lot of expectations for who our kids should be, very high expectations. And I think that can be intimidating when you, no matter who you are, whether you live up to these parental expectations or not, it can be a lot. And I think sometimes it's a little crippling.
Yeah, I get the sense from you, Kayley, that you're very caring toward the students in your classes. Like, it seems like you're able to relate and share advice in a way that, I guess, just hearing the way that you even describe it, that I think students would be open to hearing what you have to say to them.
Thank you. That's kind of my number one thing.
Yeah.
Like I have expressed, I didn't really connect with high school. I didn't have a lot of teachers that really seemed to reach out and care. And so that's part of the reason why I'm here, because I care about the individual a lot. And sometimes, like, I care about what I teach a lot. Like, I love graphic design. I love creating. But at the end of the day, it's more about the person there in front of me that I can connect with than it is about the discipline.
Yeah, I can't remember which article this was in. This is part of my stalking research sort of thing, right? But you had this quote, and you said, kids might not remember what you taught them, but they will remember how you made them feel. And I guess I was wondering if you could unpack that a little bit.
What's funny about that quote, and I was kind of called out about it, I think it's a Maya Angelou quote.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That has just stuck with me, and it kind of came out in the moment of that. And it's something really important because it's how I remember, you know, the teachers that I did connect with, you know. And it's like I keep in touch with a lot of kids after they graduate, and, you know, like a few dozen of them. And I think that sentiment of like how I made them feel has carried through because, you know, they still enjoy, like they'll reach out to me on important things or important questions still, and they're like 22, you know.
And so there you are, riding your bike in the desert. You're playing music, creating art, and kind of floating. You say kind of floating. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And NAU seemed like a good fit, being the hippie school that it is.
Yeah.
The hippie town. But you alluded to getting here and it being different than what you expected in some ways, or that you went through your own process of learning or experience there. So how was college different than what you had anticipated?
I just learned how to think more critically. I think in high school, because I didn't really pay attention that much and I didn't have a lot of teachers that I connected with academically. And, you know, your brain just starts to evolve at that time. You just start to open up to more critical ideas. I had a lot of professors that I just really connected with and taught me a lot just about how to interact and how to think about the world. And that felt really good. And I also was exploring a lot of other things at the time. It wasn't just like going the academic route. Started a circus. That was pretty fun.
Can you tell us about that? 2007, right?
All right, so here's the story.
Yeah.
I had a friend who I met named Dan Stern, and he was an art history major, had dreadlocks, hilarious. And he decided, I think his sophomore year, to quit college and then go live in a van and travel up the coast of California.
Yeah.
Well, he did that, much to his parents' dismay. And he met a street performer named Street Show Keith. Learned how to juggle and do street performance, and so he made his living in his van doing that. Then he came back to Flagstaff, and he's like, I'm going to start a juggling club. And so I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to learn how to juggle. That sounds like right up my alley. So I learned how to juggle, became treasurer of the juggling club.
Oh, so the juggling club had a leadership organization.
Yeah, we were like official NAU juggling club.
Oh, okay. It was through NAU.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so everybody learned how to juggle, and that was really fun. And then Dan was like, all right, we're going to start an amateur circus. I was like, hell yeah. You know, it was like 2007, and, you know, it just sounded like wild and fun, and he was really good at what he did. And so I wanted to do what he did because I've always had a little natural performer in my heart. And so we started doing like backyard shows. I learned how to spin fire, and that was really fun. And we just did all these little underground shows. And do you guys remember The Joint?
I do remember The Joint. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we performed at The Joint.
Okay.
But yeah, different style of performance. It was
Elite nightclub in town.
It was the elite nightclub. That was our step up from our backyard shows.
Yeah. That might have been the follow-up to Shaky Drake's. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know of Shaky Drake's?
No.
It's a legend.
Yeah. Sorry.
So it's probably Shaky Drake's is like probably the '80s equivalent to The Joint in the way you're referencing The
okay.
Joint. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Miami Vice meets The Joint, probably.
In rural
Sounds like
Arizona.
a great establishment.
Yeah. Upstanding reputation. Yeah.
I had no business at The Joint, but man, it was really funny to be able to say I performed there.
Hearing you say that was at The Joint, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, we're going from teaching to,
Yeah.
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 Spinning fire at The Joint.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. And so then what did the circus evolve into? Did it just slowly go away at some point, or did it keep expanding?
It was around for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we eventually got bigger and did more things, got a band and kind of did like Hullabaloo we'd do every year. We'd do our own shows and we'd perform at Electric Kingdom. Did you guys ever go to
I remember
Electric
that.
Kingdom?
Yeah, down at the green room.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever went, but I remember seeing a lot of photos and hearing a lot of stories from people who went.
Yeah, it was really
pretty
fun.
bananas. Yeah.
So we did a number of those for over the years. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Was this rewarding for that performance side of yourself that you referenced?
Was this what?
Rewarding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put me in front of a crowd and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm actually kind of shy and introverted in person. Like I really get a lot of time to myself, which I enjoy, and I get a little social anxiety, but for some reason you put me on the stage and then it's game on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny to hear you say that. I remember seeing this photo of you. So this would have been after the Vans contest, right? Which I want to get into a little bit, but there's a picture of you with the two students, I think, or maybe a group of people, and you're accepting the check or the award or whatever it was for that thing. And you have like the best look on your face, like blue hair, just excited. It looked like there was a lot of energy and enthusiasm even with the crowd.
Yeah, it was. And it was cool being up there with the kids, and I didn't know what to expect and I couldn't hear anything. And I wasn't 100% sure if we won, which was really obvious that we have, but I was just being really neurotic. And then I looked at the check down below. I was like, oh, good, it says 75. It looks like we won. Yes. Meanwhile, I'm holding a giant trophy. It hadn't dawned on me yet.
Yeah.
The check is what confirms it.
Did we win?
Not the trophy.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that contest, or just the process of it? What happened?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
So I came into it a little cocky. I heard about the contest, which we'd applied for a couple of years but did not get in. And we got in through an application process, and only 500 schools got selected at that point.
And what's the competition? So who's the contest through, and what are they asking? What are the parameters of the contest?
All right. So it's from Vans, like the shoe company, clothing company. They do a lot.
Yeah.
And so they put on like the biggest contest for art students, the Vans Custom Culture Contest. And in that contest, they're given each school who gets selected is giving 2 sets of blank shoes. And so the goal is to design the shoes and get it into the top 50, where it goes to community vote, and then the top 5, which it goes to Vans vote. And so yeah, we got accepted in the top 500, and then it was pretty much game on. Like, I came into it, like I said, a little cocky, and I told my students from the beginning, I'm like, we gonna win this.
Okay.
And, I kind of was like a little bit like puffery, and it's nice to get them excited. Like when they go in fierce, they go in strong. So that was really fun. And I had a competition within my classes, about 150 students, where we had templates and we designed the shoes ideas based off of 2 different things that they gave us. The first requirement was that we had to do a shoe based off of local flavor. And then the second one was off the wall. so they could pick whichever theme that they wanted to. And then ultimately I would choose the top two, one for each theme. And so that had about 150 submissions, and that was cool because the kids were all in from the beginning. They were like I hadn't seen them, like every kid coming up with questions to each other, to me, critiques all the time. How do I make this better? And then when I chose the top two, Alyssa Williams and Nicole Dougherty's, the students just rallied behind them. They were pumped. Like, they took all their energy that they had from their own designs and really just like put it full force into them, which was really wonderful to see. And so we had, our two shoes selected, and then it just became into constructing them, which I think took 75 hours between, both shoes together.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Remarkable amount of effort and energy. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And those girls are crazy too. And I loved it. And they both were just super passionate, fully in. And, they've got a bunch of other stuff going on in their life, and they just took so much time to dedicate to this and finish this. So
yeah,
that was cool.
Oh, that's so cool to hear. And then was it local flavor and off the wall? And then was it a pair of each of those, I guess? I'm wondering if you can tell us anything about the design.
Okay, so local flavor. Alyssa is Navajo, and so she took a lot of her own cultural stuff and put them in her shoes. Like, she had Monument Valley featured on there. She had some traditional patterns. She did some embroidery of some succulents and put them on there, and some aspen trees, and those were super beautiful. And she really put her whole heart in. And Alyssa, I could go on about her for the rest of this podcast.
Sure.
Because she is just like so unbelievably talented in so many different ways. And then Nicole did their shoes just in their own style. A lot of like almost cartoony, and Nicole's really great at just kind of coming up with these really abstract and different and interesting compositions. And it was really cool to see them step up and kind of showcase their work, because I don't think Nicole has always connected with the academic lifestyle, which is totally fine. I didn't either.
Sure.
And just to see Nicole just flourish in this way and get put in the limelight and still be a little bit of a rebel within that.
Yeah.
So then tell us about the ceremony where it's too loud on stage. You don't know if you've actually won, but Vans shows up here to town.
Yeah. So after it went to community vote, which was pretty huge, like Flagstaff really wrapped around us in a very special way and voted and voted and voted. And then we won. And I'm on stage, and Vans threw a huge concert for the kids. And the whole school was there. Like, kids were moshing and taking off their shirts. And I'm standing there like, what the heck is going on? And then we were only on stage for a minute, while they presented the award and the check and, all the accolades. And it was just really surreal because so much work went into it. Like, even outside of just the competition within my class and the kids designing the shoes, marketing to the community was a big one. And so worked with a number of entities like Rand Jenkins from Mountain Mojo, and Zach Fountain was the district communications director at the time, and he was really invested and involved. So a large part of it, I don't think that most people realize, is how much marketing and connection to the community went into getting that community support and vote. And the community latched on, and they pushed it themselves. It wasn't like we did ask them to, but, they were invested and they showed up. And that was really cool to be like supported and wrapped around in that way.
So I like kind of remember that time and just thinking like, that is bonkers that Flagstaff High School won this contest. And this, I just think of Flagstaff as kind of like a blip on the map in a lot of ways. And so it seems that the town was able to rally, really kind of support, and y'all got this really cool recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, the way you describe yourself as a high school student, and then the way you talk about looking out at the crowd and the energy and kind of the just passion of it is like who you describe yourself as. When you were joking about Kayley and Kaley, It's like that crowd that like you brought that energy. Like maybe if it was a different teacher, they wouldn't even known about the contest or have applied for the contest. And then if it was another teacher, maybe the teacher wouldn't have said, hey, we're winning this, like from the jump, right? And got the energy going. And the way you talk about your experience in high school, you actually brought that to the students. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking like a leadership quality there. Yeah. Like we're winning this joint. Yeah.
Just project confidence. And then
It's like a Stand By Me movie type situation there.
yeah.
I wonder what it was like. I don't know if this moment happened, and maybe I'm just like, I'm just like pumped at how you could get students to do this. But I wonder if there was a point at which where you could look in their eyes, the students' eyes, and see their actual sense of confidence or their sense of pride in the moment. It's such a tough period of life. And I was wondering if after they won, if you could see it in their faces.
There was a glow about them,
Yeah.
They were both sophomores at the time in my graphic design 1 class, which was kind of big.
Yeah.
And just still having that like youthful innocence, which, I mean, whenever you get put in the national limelight like that, I'm sure spotlight, it would feel a little overwhelming. But, they handled it with grace.
Mm-hmm.
I think with eyes wide open, very wide for a while. But they were both funny, and they're both opposites, like so opposites. Alyssa was very studious, very, creative and athletic. And Nicole's very, very creative, but she didn't really connect with the rest of it. And Nicole would occasionally say like little things that she shouldn't say on like to the media. Like the school looks like a prison, and I'm like, Nicole. Just giving the nix that
Oh man,
face.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. We kind of, enjoy hearing that. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Typical
after my
rebel.
own heart. Yeah. So what other projects are you currently working on then?
I've got a couple of things in the works. 3 main things.
Okay, do we got like an exclusive release here?
You've got an exclusive
come on,
upfront
man.
release.
Yeah.
Can we get the air horn?
But
Can we get we got button game
got
strong?
the air horn on the buttons yet.
Okay.
I heard your guys' button game was strong.
Well, I'm letting it down now.
The one time.
That's why I showed up.
Just because the buttons.
Yeah.
Oh no, now I'm all flustered.
Man, it was like we use them inappropriately all the time. And then the one time we could use it appropriately, just
Drop the ball.
there we go. Yeah, thank you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ooh, what should I talk about first? Okay, so I like to jump around in projects, and that kind of keeps my brain engaged, like between teaching and self-art projects. And I'm fortunate in that because I do have a teaching career, I get to just work on whim and passion in other times. And right now, my current obsession is about a book that I'm both illustrating and writing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's I hesitate to talk too much about it because it's not like, finished. It's still in the works, but it's called Light and Chaos. And it is a book. I basically am summing it up as like a mental health sci-fi illustration book where each page has a illustrated concept and then a written kind of not statement, but just something written that connects with that illustration.
Yeah.
Usually about my own weird inner workings. And
Yeah. How did the idea come about?
I've been kind of mulling it over for a number of years now. I started it last year, just a bunch of concept sketches in my journal and on my iPad. And then in the past few months, I've just really picked it up energetically again. Just issues of mental health have always been something that's very important to me. And I connect with people a lot about these subjects, and to like have a forum that I can just kind of present all of these ideas in instead of just like talking into the Facebook abyss. So,
Very cool. Idea 1, Light and Chaos.
Light and Chaos.
Sci-fi mental health.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you mentioned being a little hesitant to throw it out there as it's in the works.
I talked with a publisher last week or this week. Yeah.
Okay. Come on. Yeah.
Will you let us know what happens in a progressive way?
Hell yeah, I will.
Keep in touch and let us know so we can speak to it when it comes to fruition.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of interesting, and I'm going to use this as a platform to try and like find somebody.
Okay.
And I'm waiting for somebody to tell me that this is absolutely crazy. I want to partially fund being able to print the book through selling the illustrations as NFTs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know nothing about what I'm talking about yet. So I'm really looking for somebody who knows a lot more about this to connect with.
Okay. Perfect. Well, if
We
you
are
didn't
not
think,
your people.
well, we're just gonna. Yeah, we are not your people. But for me, I would say, yeah, Kayley, that's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, you're on the right path then.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy, and that means it's a green light, not a red light.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
No, that's so cool to think ahead like that, to progress and push things rather than do more of the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this NFT thing, which like everybody jumped on this bandwagon well before I did. But just like as far as the future of art and digital art, you know, because a lot of times I find digital art not as accessible for people as selling a physical painting, and kind of creating a space in a realm where, you know, consumers of art can gravitate to that in a different way. I like, because I think a lot of digital artists don't get the credit, you know, at least that's what I see, because I do both digital and physical, and my physical stuff sells a lot easier than anything digital, just because people, I think, understand it a little bit more and what went into it.
Yeah, but it's the way the world's moving, right?
Right.
It's the digital and the NFT stuff. Yeah. This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep in touch with us and let us know what happens.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Then share with anyone who might be able to help Kayley right now. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our moms listen to this podcast, so
Hi, Mom.
They are plugged in. Yeah. Yeah, it is going to be my mom's birthday a couple days ago, too, when this thing releases. So happy birthday, Joyce.
Happy birthday, Joyce.
happy
Yeah, from
birthday.
Kayley, Dunny, and your son. Yeah. Yes, we'll
birthday,
get this
Joyce.
thing just really out there in the universe.
Yeah. And so you mentioned 2 other projects as well?
Yes.
Yeah. What else?
So we spoke about me being a performer back in the day, which I haven't done in a few years. But I want to do a show called Robot Apocalypse in July.
Okay.
So it's coming up here soon.
July 2022.
July 2022. I haven't released the date yet, but we're going to do a call for performers soon. It's kind of like a circus variety show, aerial, even spoken word, just like run through of like each act is its own version of a robot apocalypse scenario.
So cool.
Yeah.
With some
Love it.
crazy set design and lights and music and
Yeah.
big party. So,
Okay. Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah.
It does.
Robot
Yeah.
apocalypse. Yeah.
This is such great energy to bring to the community. Yeah.
thanks. I try and channel my like inner crazy to do something creative with it, where I was stressing out about, you know, robots taking over the world personally to my husband in a slight not serious way.
Yeah.
And he likes to help channel that. We're like, why don't we do another robot apocalypse show?
Yeah.
And so then I go from my like neurotic energy, like, oh my gosh, we're all screwed, to like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to make something really weird and pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of share your same fear there.
Yeah. Tolkien has Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
to address the Industrial Revolution, and Robot Apocalypse will be the
That's
technological
the next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
revolution. Yeah.
I consider myself on the same level,
Yeah,
too. you know?
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what's the third?
I'm working on a show, which I haven't figured out where I want to put it yet. A painting show. I've got a new series of this combination of digital collage and acrylic abstracts that I'm very excited about. I've been posting a lot of those on my Instagram lately. I haven't posted any of the book stuff because that's top super secret and it's a little outside of my normal style.
Okay.
But this one is kind of within my style that I'm used to doing, but a little bit separate with the kind of digital, realistic drawings, and then collaged with paint. So.
Very cool.
So more of a secure medium and outlet.
Yeah, it's not as weird, you know.
I don't know that I'd use the word weird though. Like, you
You
keep
guys haven't seen my
minimizing.
book yet. It's a little weird.
Okay.
But in a
man.
good way. Like, I'm a professional weirdo. Like, I don't take that as a negative.
Yeah, I see that as like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
PWs.
Yeah, so I'm stoked, and I'm really appreciative that you're willing just to share what you're doing, including the book, even with the reservation you have. Speaking
Thanks.
to it, thanks for just sharing that.
Yeah, put it out there. On the third one, you mentioned you're still looking for a space to host your show.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do you have a rough time frame when you're looking to
No.
release that?
It's just been coming out very organically. That is kind of the like really nice thing about having a secure job is that I do have the ability to play with all of these other things instead of like needing to be commercial or my art need to be in a specific way in order for it to sell. So
Well, so thanks so much for sharing. And for us, we ask our guests when they come on to sum up as best they can in a handful of sentences. How do you define Flagstaff? Or how would you describe Flagstaff?
Flagstaff for me has been really largely about the connections to the people. I've had a lot of success, but largely it is due to connections and just sharing heartfelt things with other people and wanting to help each other, being in positions where I can help other people, being in positions where I can be helped. And I think that's really the foundation of this community for me, just that connection and that sharing and that eagerness to lift up one another in a non-competitive way has been something that's kept me here. Something that I didn't understand coming from Phoenix, just being very separate from, I didn't really have a strong sense of community. And granted, I was young, so I hadn't evolved into that yet. But here, it's been really special and just so many friendships and things that bring me a lot of joy. That's kept me here.
Yeah, it's so cool to hear. Just thinking, there was a question I was wondering earlier was what kept you in Flag after leaving university, and what I hear you saying is the connection to the people. And it seems that over the course of your time here, you've really been able to be one of those people that contributes to the connection and the fabric of the town, like seeing your art all around and being able to have a positive influence in the lives of high schoolers in town is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. For me, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to sit with us again. This has been a real pleasure to sit with you and to get to hear your story and make some jokes and talk about some fun stuff and all the great things that you're doing as well.
Thanks, man. I'm super flattered to be here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we're flattered that you came. You should not be flattered to be here. We're happy that you came. It really was a joy to listen to you and see the energy you bring, and you're disseminating it. And in such an important way with the youth of America, as you refer to them.
Yeah, Youth of America. That was great.
Man, youth of America are fortunate to have Kayley Quick
Come on.
as their advocate. Yeah,
Button game.
thank you.
We don't have the air horn.
Come on. Again. Yeah.
There you go.
That's the closest thing we got to to an air horn. Sorry about Dave, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, Kaylee. All right. Kaylee Quick just left the joint.
She gone.
She gone. She's off for the day.
She's off for the day, man. Off to rest.
Yeah, she showed us. So she showed us the images of the book that she was talking about. Man, that is cool.
Yeah. Really neat, right?
It is really neat. Both you and I talked about. We should have looked his name up real quick, but we talked about this Jungian climate scientist who talks about artists being aware of what change is needed and addressing criticisms of what currently is and ideas for how to progress out of that.
Yeah.
In the collective unconscious.
Yeah.
And yeah, her art really, to me, represents that. She says, it's these pieces that talk about mental health, and yeah, the art was incredible. And then the little narrative, she showed us one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so representative of what's going on.
Yeah, just incredible, right? Like really speaking to, like you mentioned with the Jungian psychology thing, like what's going on with the collective unconscious and then sort of identifying ways to go from there. Gosh, yeah, I love the art. I love the concept. I love the like robot apocalypse idea. Everything for me is, it's just so important, I guess. I love how she describes herself as a professional weirdo with all that. It's like, no, I think you're kind of tapped into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing. She's Tolkien-esque, right?
She's Tolkien-esque.
Same level.
Same level.
Hashtag same levels.
Hashtag same levels, maybe beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
And then more broadly, so for me, the thing that I come out of sitting with her with is, she talks about this. She talked about in a way of like her high school self feeling really uncertain and somewhat uncomfortable in some realms of the world, maybe the academic world, or she describes herself. She joked, talking about that bus driver story. She joked about Kayley and Kaley, right? And
Yeah,
Kaylee is
Kayley.
this crazy one.
Yeah.
And yet she's brought that energy and funneled it into the system. She's a teacher now, right? She's part of the system or the machine that kids may experience there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet gets to direct them. So she gets to take that energy that feels like craziness to her.
Yeah.
And obviously then coming out in the Vans competition with the win is evidence of her success in channeling that.
Totally. I love her describing how she's just kind of like, I don't know, like puffed up chest, like, we're going to win this, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to win.
We do need to start recording these things because their facial expressions, our guests, their facial expressions totally play into. Sometimes there's these coy looks or like these knowing smiles.
Totally.
With the things that they're referencing. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this element that's missed only by doing this audio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so cool. Just like you're saying, she brings that energy to the classroom, and it seems like what it does is it just brings people together. Like for me, it's so surprising to hear about Flagstaff High School winning this contest.
Yeah,
like that's huge in my mind. Like, how do you get a town or a school from Flagstaff to do that?
Yeah.
And so she just seems to have this really connective energy.
Yeah,
very caring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like she really cares about her students.
Yeah.
Like hearing her talk about like staying in touch with people after they graduate and that kind of thing.
Kind,
genuine,
heart of gold. She was kind enough to come on our podcast after listening to the story about Papalopagus.
Papalopagus, nice. Yeah, Poppy for short.
So one episode she had listened to was Poppy, and she still came on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was the social media one, right? Yeah, talking about stepping in the almond butter poop. Yeah, if that didn't deter you, man, you got an openness to just experience. Let's see what this is like.
Yeah, so thank you, Kayley, for your time. So cool to know her. We'll be happy to post what she's doing because she obviously has a skill with connecting people.
Yeah, no doubt. And doing great things on the docket. Really cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes about.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to reposting what she has going on.
Come on.
All right. Well, why don't you take us out by shouting us out?
No doubt. You can always find us on the interwebs at www.beyondflag.com, flag spelled
FLG.
And we are on the Instagram. We've been on that gram. We've been getting Beanie's biggest towers. And
Beanie's biggest towers.
Beanie's biggest towers.
And Top Shelf Dean and the double decker.
Top Shelf Dean had a double decker, man. That was great.
Yeah.
Just looking enthusiastic and stoked. Love it, man. Yeah. So find us on the Instagram. You can also find us at the Twitter feed.
Yeah.
We there.
All right. Take care.
Love you.
Yeah.
That says Baydon flag. I guess I misspelled that one, huh?
We're running out of real estate with the audio. You got to get back on track.